gonna get off his corners? You gonna leave his people be? Or you the one that's gonna find yourself a new plug? You don't mean that shit? The fuck I don't. I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just cause you don't like the way another nigga talk. Okay. When I say build this brick by brick, I mean I'm self-made. I built this shit brick by brick, and the pair Nigel Sylvester, brick by bricks. Niggas try and box me in like a dog shit. So the mic that I might it was Vic. I took mine and did with the cane. Could be a cap of how I'm stepping on bricks. I'm breaking the cornerback. Like an NFL blitz, for the stay on the set of stairs, I'm as rare as it gets. The number one seed who believe he succeed from the bench by any means. Although we was conceived in the trench, belief that he's it, so we had to break free from the grip, flee from the strip. Only way to achieve what he did. Told me they do it for the love, so it was free when they slid. Dump two and push a frontal through the back of a wig. Chasing progress, how I found patience. On your way up, only strongest.
Welcome to Brick by Brick, episode 2. We here, we live. I will be being joined by my brother David Sell soon, live from Wendy Correctional Facility. We here. We rebuilding lives, reshaping now. Reshaping lives, rebuilding now, reshaping now. We doing all that. My name is Tu. Yeah, a little bit of quick history because in time and asking who are you to be, trying to put there. Long story short, at the age of 19, I caught a robbery case in Brooklyn. I went on a run for approximately 2 years, caught another robbery in Buffalo in 97, 10 years in Brooklyn, 17, you do 14 out of that, half out of that. I did 14. Coming home, I got my bachelor's degree. I got my master's degree in social work. I'm a licensed master social worker. Then my licensed criminal social worker. I'm also a credentialed alcohol and substance. A little bit of my background. And decided to get with my brother David Sell because people hear amazing, and it is. Not pat myself on the back, but I'm not going to down. Top of my head, just me personally, 10 other guys. 10 other guys who spend more at a home doing way better than me, have accomplished way more than me since being home. But these are the stories that you never get. These are the stories that you never hear. So we're going to highlight some of those stories. We're going to talk to some people that are still behind the wall. We're going to talk to some people and we're going to do the best we can to do that from here, from YouTube. So and hit the subscribe button, hit the share, hit the bell so you get to share. Follow me at Forgive My Brooklyn on TikTok as well. I'll usually let y'all know on TikTok when I'm getting ready to go live over here. Follow the brother David Sell on YouTube at Change Comes From Within. We also streaming on that page, streaming on both pages at the same time. Excuse me. Sometimes David will go live, like Keisha, without me. But I'm sure they have a way to give y'all advance one. They'll let y'all know. Like I said, they should be joining us soon any minute now. Matter of fact, let me text them and see. I want to holler at Dave too. So I know a lot of y'all might not be familiar. So it's a brother by the name of Jonathan Parker. I don't know the brother personally, but I believe he's from New York City. So officer, um, unnecessarily, and they were on edge, as one would say, because a week or two prior to my arrest, 2 Buffalo police officers were shot, allegedly by this brother Jonathan Parker. He was later convicted of killing one officer, shooting another one, and given a life sentence. Just recently, I saw something in the news about witnesses recanting and saying so. They trying to, last I heard, they trying to decide now whether or not they get him out of jail, because he's been in jail since then. I've been home. I did 14. I've been home 14, and he's still in jail. I don't know how old he was when it took place, when it first took place, but I do remember it because they was all on me. You know, I have a gun in the house, and they were saying, "Oh, you dudes want to come out here?" Allegedly, I shot at the police. Jonathan was convicted of killing this Buffalo police officer, and it looks like he might get some airtime sometime in the near future. I'm not sure if my brother David Sell heard about that on the inside, but as soon as he calls, that's one of the first things I want to ask him. Like, you know, this was a good platform to come on and to share dude stories. Like I said, I got my brother Eddie Buckley. He coming up soon. He real busy. He just did like 30 joints. He just got home, so he's busy putting his life back together. So he's hard to catch up with. But we gonna definitely talk to him. He has a very unique story. He went up north. I met him in Coxsackie Correctional Facility back in like '99. During our stay in Coxsackie Correctional Facility, there was a homicide in the dormitory area in which we lived in, which was the mess hall dorms, dorm 1, I believe it was at the time called. And Eddie, aka Boogie, aka QS Quiet Storm, was convicted of that homicide and ended up spending 30 years in prison. So he's home now after that long drawn out ordeal. So we're gonna try to get him on as soon as possible to talk to him, because I think he has a very unique how he's been doing since coming home, how he's been readjusting after 30 years in a penitentiary, coming home and you know, getting a job and moving around out here. I don't know what's taking Dave so long. He got to be kidding me. I was just on the phone with him. But that's basically the gist of what we got going on here. He's originally from the Bronx. He was also in Buffalo, engaged in devilishment like me. We met in Buffalo in the Erie County Holding Center in 1997 when I got arrested. I believe he was already there. I would see him on the news. I was on one floor, and I got shot by the police, as I just explained. So I believe he was on one floor, and I was on the other in the beginning. I would see him go to court in the news. He would see me go to court in the news. I got into a couple of, you know, as I started moving around, dudes didn't like the fact I was from Brooklyn. I was in the holding center. One thing led to another. I got into a couple of altercations. And the police, after a while, they was, you know what, I got something for him to put you with the other New York dude. They put me on a tier with David, and from there our brotherhood grew. That's my brother. Like, you know, we was there for, I think I was in the holding center for 5-6 months. Then I went up north. I went to Elmira. He went up first, because when I got to Elmira, he was there already in reception. I saw him real briefly. He left a few days later. I saw him real briefly, and then I don't know, a year later, so I ran into him in Attica. But we was on different sides of the jail, so we didn't really get to speak like that. And, you know, we stayed in contact. I bounced around Attica, Comstock, Eastern, Adirondack for a hot minute, back to Eastern. After I went upstate box, back to Eastern, nevertheless, we kept in contact. And since I've been home, we still been in contact, obviously. And he came, most of this was his idea to do this. I was already online doing, you know, twos and fews, whatever, making jokes or what have you. And he came up with this idea, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. So we decided to jump on this. I'm trying to figure out what is taking him so long to call. But he should be here any minute, y'all. But really, I think it's a shame that, you know, when a brother comes home from prison and messes up, I'm not going to say make a mistake, because we have to take ownership of our actions. And he messes up and he does something stupid and winds up back in prison, that's highlighted. But the brothers that come home and do the right thing and take care of their families and their communities, you never hear about. You would think they don't exist. They blend right in and you never hear about them. But the one or two dudes that mess up get plastered all over the news. They make documentaries and movies and all type of shit about them. So you can see that, which leads you to believe that everybody's doing that. And it's not the truth. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna call because I don't really understand what's going on. Hey, what's up? He didn't call back?
Oh, yeah. He calling back now.
All right, call me. Okay. All right. All right. All right, we coming now, y'all. Here we go. Hello? Hello?
What up, baby?
Peace, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me? What's good?
Yeah, I hear you. Peace, what's going on? I know you're not on that company phone because I hear that echo. So I'm going to try not to do too much talking because it's my voice that echoes.
All right.
So
let's go.
So introduce yourselves. I already introduced myself.
Well, I'm going to introduce myself. David Sell. I'm currently incarcerated in Wendy Correctional Facility. I was sentenced to 23 and a half years to life. I was convicted for murder. And currently I've served 28 years.
And who else?
My name is Jonathan Parker. I was 19 years old when I was taken without parole for the murder of a Westbrook police officer. I've currently been incarcerated for 28 years. I was arrested back in 1997 for a crime I clearly didn't commit. And I've been here fighting that conviction ever since.
All right, real quick before we move on. This is crazy. Who Dave was saying he was going to have on. I literally just finished talking about you, Jonathan. I saw an article in the paper saying that some witnesses recanted and that they was trying to decide whether or not they was going to give you a hearing or not. And I remember your case because it was right before mine, and I got into an altercation with the police and they shot me unnecessarily, and they said it was because they was on edge because your case had just happened.
Wow.
I literally just finished talking about you before y'all called, and I was saying I don't know what's going on, but I know I saw the other day online that you might get some rhythm in the courts real soon.
Right. Actually, I went back to court back in 2022. June 2022, I got a 440 motion in front of a judge right now. Like you said, a couple of some of the key alleged eyewitnesses have recanted their testimony. Two of them have given affidavits. One of them, they say, was, like I said, they say he was allegedly key eyewitnesses. One of them was threatened by a Buffalo police detective, a detective who was later found out to be corrupt and was made to retire without his pension. There was another alleged key eyewitness. He said that he only testified the way that he testified because at the time he had a federal crime, and the district attorney was offering him assistance to get a deal for his testimony for that federal charge. Wow, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, let's start from the beginning. Give us a little history, Jonathan. Where you from? How you came up? Give us a little history prior to your arrest.
Prior to my arrest, I grew up in New York, on the east side of Buffalo. You know, for the most part, I left home when I was about 14 years old. So at the age of 14, I was in and out of group homes, living on the street at times. I was in the streets, you know. I was doing with teenagers. I was, you know, on the corner selling drugs, you know, looking and running through the neighborhoods. I had prior arrests. I had been arrested a few times. I had a few court cases pending at the time for weapons charges. I ended up coming to prison, like I said, at 19. And like I said, it was a surprise to me, but because it happened in the neighborhood that I was known to frequent, I was an easy target for them. I had a reputation at the time for being, you know, the things that I was doing in the street, living the lifestyle that we talked. So I actually ended up catching a federal indictment. Later on, after this, I was indicted. I went to a federal trial for a murder conviction. Ended up getting a murder conviction. Later on, that murder conviction was overturned. You know, same thing. Buffalo police trying to make sure they knew that this conviction wasn't going to hold. So the federal court decided to give me a reversal. They completely reversed that charge. And I'm just fighting this case now. I've been in the prison system, like I say, 28 years. Still fighting this conviction, still doing the best I can, you know, staying firm. You know, like they say nowadays, I'm trying to remain sturdy. Prison system ain't what it used to be. It ain't what it used to be when you say that. But at the same time, it ain't what it used to be. So I've just been doing the best I can to hold my head and continue fighting this conviction.
All right, so paint the picture for us. How were you arrested for this crime that you didn't commit? What were you doing when they came looking for you?
I actually was chilling out with one of my family members. And I got a call from Paul B. Hurley. So my attorney, like I say, Paul B. Hurley, he contacted me, let me know that I was wanted for questioning in this incident. So I gladly turned myself in. I knew I had nothing to hide. I knew I wasn't involved. So my lawyer came, picked me up, and we went to the Buffalo Police Department. It was a frightening experience. You know, not knowing what I was walking into. I felt a little confident that I did have my friend Paul Hurley with me. And he let me know that he had arranged for it to be a smooth transition for me to be able to turn myself. I had no reservations about doing so because, like I said, I'm innocent. I didn't have anything to do with it. I was arrested, taken through the booking process. I was arraigned, you know, I was given no bail. I was taken to the Erie County Holding Center, put in a segregated area. Maybe, you know, I was put in a cell by myself. So I'm wondering what's going on. Like, it wasn't making sense to me at the time. It still don't make sense to me right now. But I don't know what I can say about that.
All right, so and help the people watching understand how an innocent man goes to trial and is convicted, because a lot of people believe, well, if you didn't do it, then you're gonna go to trial and you're gonna get off, and they don't. That's not always the case. That guilt or innocence doesn't make the people.
Well,
I mean, as much as you can. Well, I don't hold on. I know you got stuff in court right now. I don't want you to say too much that it mess up something else that you got going on up in court. So as much as you can, try to explain to the people what happened.
Well, the reality of it is you're guilty until proven innocent. That's the reality of the justice system. And like I said at the time, I wasn't the most, how can I say this? I wasn't clean, I didn't have a clean cut image, first of all. So, I want to leave with that, because if I would have been a 19-year-old that was working a goal, had a reputation that I had, it would have been a whole totally different outcome for the Senate. Now, going through the judicial process, they say you're supposed to have a jury of your peers. So if I was supposed to be afforded a jury of my peers at the time, I had an all-white jury. So you got a young black man coming from the east side of Buffalo, sitting in the courtroom being judged by 12 people from suburban areas. On top of that, I'm in front of a judge who clearly had his own issues at the time and had a strong working relationship with the Buffalo Police Department. So the deck was stacked against me from the setting. You know, it's not about the truth. It's about who could paint the, like you said, paint a picture. It's about who could paint a better picture. And at the time, the district attorney was able to paint a better picture. They put their pieces in place the best way they could. They stacked the deck against me.
Oh yeah, I've told people that before, and people don't understand. It's about who can tell a better story, and really, guilt or innocence plays no part in it. So now here we are. What is it? 28 years later, and what is your frame of mind now? Like how have you been maintaining this last 28 years? Like what have you been doing while in prison? What have they allowed you to do?
I'm glad you asked me that question in the manner that you just asked me, because you said what have they allowed me to do? And because of my conviction, because of the sentence that I'm in prison on, because it's to them the most heinous crime that could be committed, I've been forced to be housed in the worst facilities in New York State. At any given time, when a facility in New York State was considered to be the worst of the worst prison in New York State, those are the prisons I've been housed in. Prisons with no programs. The programs that I am allowed to have remedial programs. So, you know, I have never been afforded opportunities. And I say I've been housed in prisons like Attica, Clinton Correctional Facility, Great Meadow Correctional Facility before they closed it down. And you know what I mean? Like I said, I've been housed in the worst correctional facilities in prison. But I don't have a bad prison record. You know, if that means anything, I don't really consider it to mean anything. I consider the person I am shows who I am daily. So I'm just trying to endure this with that glimmer of hope that the truth will come to the light. That I will regain my freedom and be able to go forward in life with what life I have, the time I have.
All right. So now these recent developments, I mean, I literally just saw it the other day, like 2-3 days ago, but it sounds like you've been dealing with this for a minute now. How did this come about with these witnesses recanting and all that? How did you hear about it? What's going on with that?
I had an investigator that was that's been working with me that believes in my innocence, and he actually got in contact with these witnesses and was able to sit down with them and get the truth from them firsthand.
Okay, that's a beautiful thing. Dave, you don't got no questions you want to ask? You're quiet in the background.
My position is like the severity of his situation. I just want him to get as much airplay, publicity as possible to help him out.
No, definitely.
When you're convicted of when you're convicted of a crime like that, we're talking about the KO Smitty that's been in prison after 50 years. I know a lot of people, Dave McClary, the marshals, they struggling. They've been going to the parole board for the last 10, 15 years and getting hit 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. So our story, listen, there's a sense of urgency for all of us to try to get home to our family. You have this individual, this young man right here, fighting for his freedom because he's actually innocent. And the thing about this is this, right? The streets talk. We know what's going on. And when Bro first got arrested, everybody was saying he didn't do it. If you want to know what's going on, the prisoners know what's going on. The prisoners know who's innocent and who's not. And I've been hearing his story for so long. Right? I've been hearing this story for so long. And somebody close to me said, maybe about a couple of months ago, we can't forget about the Jonathan Park. And when she said that, I made sure I reached out to Bro. We ran in the same circle, right? But we never met each other. But I know his mother. His mother was very close friends with my wife. And I know her pain. That pain is familiar to me because I know my mother's pain. So, me and my wife decided, listen, we got to help Bro. We got to help him. Any way we can, we got to help him. If that means putting my story to the side, I'm fine with that. But he needs the help. Because his battle, his uphill battle is more severe than mine. So I'm just happy that you given Bro the opportunity to express himself, tell his story. That's what's important.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's really, I literally, if anybody that's watching this or gonna go back and watch this, I literally started this off talking about him and saying that we was all in the holding center at the same time, but I never met Bro because they had him separate. Yeah.
I know where he was at. He was on Bravo in that single cell. I know exactly where he was at. You know what I'm saying? So, even to be confined like that, isolated like that plays a toll on you mentally. And for the brothers to be able to be so articulate, for the brothers to be able to really think deep and elevate himself, that speaks volumes about the man we're speaking to.
Yeah, and we was all about the same age at the time. I was a couple of years older, but we was all about the same age. I remember that. I remember seeing him on the news, and I remember because Jonathan, you don't know, but I got I got shot by a Buffalo police officer unnecessarily, and they claimed that they was on edge because of your case. And I remember that. It's so crazy because originally when I was in the holding center, I was segregated as well because of the altercation I had with the Buffalo police officer. But because I'm not from Buffalo, I got into a few altercations. So after my fourth fight or so, they figured they was gonna do me a favor, and they put me with Dave. They was like, "We gonna put you with the other New York dude. Y'all be all right." And that's how me and him met.
Wow, that's good. You know, it is bad because you have to, you know, they take the picture, right? So, one thing about our society in general is that they have an addiction to punishment, right? Our society has an addiction to punishment. So when you're on a case like that, they don't want to know the truth.
You a little muffled all of a sudden. You was clear a minute ago.
Yeah, they don't care about the truth. With a case like that, they don't care about the truth. Because all they worried about is punishment. All they worry about is, you know, vengeance. He got arrested, he's guilty. He got a good point. It's not, you know, it's not innocent until proven guilty. It's guilty, and you better paint a better picture than the DA's office to prove your innocence. And we know how they play.
No, definitely.
They not playing fair. When you have an office, right, where prosecutors, in order to retain your job as a prosecutor, and this is what a lot of people don't know, you will have to maintain a certain percentage of conviction. 90% and up, you can maintain, you can be a prosecutor. So you really think when a prosecutor gets this evidence that this man is guilty, that they're going to present it? No, they're going to do the complete opposite and get people to lie on somebody and say he did it. We don't go through that. The wheeling and dealing, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, finally, 20 years later, people feel like, you know what, I did die. I want to recant.
Well, that's a blessing. When I read it the other day, I was like, well, I was telling my wife, I was like, yo, this is crazy. This dude, I remember son being on the news and all that when I was first locked up in Buffalo, and they saying that he killed this police officer, and everybody was saying he ain't do it. And I'm like, look at this, all these years later, now he might get some rhythm. And I was like, this is a beautiful thing. And it's just crazy that you had him on the phone ready to talk. I couldn't even imagine. And you kept saying Jonathan, I never put it together that it's the same dude.
That's crazy.
Nah, but I'm happy that you know the witnesses are finally trying to do the right thing, and hopefully you know, we can have another one of these real soon with you on camera because you out here.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. Amen to that.
Definitely, man. Does your family have any like social media, anything set up that people can go to and try to show you support, whatever, anything you want to direct people to?
They could go to the website, Instagram, and Facebook. JusticeForJonathanParker.com. JusticeForJonathanParker.com. You can get it through a website, through Facebook, or Instagram.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard that? That's Justice. I'm gonna put it in the comments. Justice. You spell everything spelled out?
Yes, straight all together. Justice for Jonathan Parker. Jonathan spelled JONATHAN. Parker. Justice for JonathanParker.com.
Jonathan Parker.
I think what's important to also note is that, you know, you have individuals that believe in his innocence, like Jason Flom. You know what I mean? And we all know who Jason Flom is. And Jason Flom doesn't really, you know, his focus is more so on freeing innocent people. So for Jason Flom to support Rose, that means something. That's big. That gives him credibility. So, you know, we want to shout out Jason Flom for everything he's doing for the brothers and sisters locked up, because, you know, that's the asset that we need. We need those big voices. We need those big faces. You know, we definitely need the support. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful to have Jacob Farmer in my corner.
Yeah, like I said, but in the beginning, before y'all got jumped on the phone, I was telling people, like, you know, the average person in the public believes that, you know, the criminal justice system works, and it doesn't work all the time. It doesn't work most of it. At least it doesn't work for us. It works for the people who designed it and the people who profit off of it, which hardly ever equates to innocent people being treated as innocent people. I've never claimed innocence. I did my 14 years. I never claimed innocence. I was outside doing things I had no business doing. And I was convicted for crimes that I committed. Jonathan said the same thing. He was outside, he was in the streets, but that does not make him guilty of everything. Just because I did A, don't mean I did B.
Right. That part.
But so somebody, I don't know who that is. Somebody's phone getting ready to get cut off.
That was me.
All right, so beautiful talking to you. Definitely, we could do this again anytime, and hopefully, like I said, y'all go to justiceforjonathanparker.com and show that man some love, man. And we're gonna see. Hopefully, he be out here soon, and we can have a face-to-face conversation.
Amen. Thank you, bro. Y'all have a blessed night.
All right, you too, man. You too. Peace.
Go back. Go back, brother. Copy.
All right, guys, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all chop it up. You know, I'm
The caller has hung up.
I got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm surprised my kids ain't come down here yet. Like, what are you doing down here? You've been out here for 35 minutes. What's going on?
Now, we appreciate you, though, man, and we definitely going to be more consistent with this. It's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's layers to this. It's an educational process that needs to be implemented to educate our people, what's going on, why it's going on. You know, this is the new June Pro. So, you know, it's a lot to talk about, man, and we're going to have that discussion real soon, bro. I know you got to go. I love you.
Love you
Enjoy
too,
your
bro.
trip.
Definitely. One thing I want to say before I go, the next time we do this, Keisha, I'm going to need you to say something. I told you I don't need you in the background, not saying nothing. I'll let you slide this time. I'm going to put you on blast next time. We need that female perspective.
That's a fact. Not only that, but you know, the family perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mothers, the fathers.
You have a unique experience that they need to hear about, man. And I say unique, it's unique because no two people's experience are the same, but it's millions of other women out there that can relate, that they hear about that.
And they are champions.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for our champions. I want to make that clear. Like, without our women, we would be nothing.
Absolutely.
Without my wife,
I agree.
I would be nothing, man. And I don't think they get enough credit for what they have to endure. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you know, they got no choice. And this is not our norm. This cannot continue to be our norm. Where the men are being incarcerated, women are, you know, assuming our position, and you know, it's like, you know, we're stuck in here. They trying to figure out, we trying to figure it out, and no, it's not healthy for our family, for our community.
Absolutely.
And that's why we need to get back out there. The men need to assume their position, get back out there, not only for the family, but for the communities as well.
All right, with that being said, let me go upstairs before my wife get mad at me. And
Hey, listen, tell Shawnee thank you. Thank you for, you know, giving us a high power.
All right, we out here. We here. This was Brick by Brick, episode 2. David Sell, Jonathan Parker. Go to justiceforjonathanparker.com. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share this with your friends. Let them know we on here and we rebuilding lives and we changing the narrative, man. Talk to y'all later, man. Have a good night, y'all. Peace.
And let me just plug my website. Clemency
Yeah,
David Sell. S-E-L-L. Clemency for David Sell. S-E-L-L.
Clemency for David Sell. S-E-L-L. And follow both YouTube pages. Forgive My Brooklyn And the change comes from within. We streaming live on both of them. Follow both YouTube pages.
Absolutely.
We here. Share them with your friends. Tell them like and subscribe. Get those numbers up, y'all. Do the right thing, man.
That's it.
All right,
Appreciate
man.
you, bro.
I love you, bro. Have a good night, man.
You too. Love you.
Peace.